Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mike Kollin at MikeKollin.com. Empty your mind, be formless, be shapeless, be like water, my friend. Do you want to know what all of this is about? I mean, every video I've made, psychology, religion, spirituality, Jesus, Buddha, God, the universe. Do you want to know what every single thing is really about? It's about finding that void, that empty space where there's nothing but silence. In that space of emptiness, there's nothing. But from that nothingness is where you create everything. So, at the very, very, very beginning of the Bible, the book of Genesis, the first book, chapter 1, verse 1, I'm going to start from there, and you get there really quick in a couple of verses. It says, in the beginning, when? In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. Verse 3, and God said, let there be light, and there was light. So at the very top of this chapter 1, Genesis 1, verse 1, it says creation. So this is about creation. Now, during some of our trainings, one of the things they said is your thinking blocks your creation, blocks your manifestation. Same thing, creation, manifestation. And one company gave us this audio tape to listen to, and it was called Enter the Void. So at this point, I'd probably been meditating for 6 or 7 years or something at this point. And I was getting really ridiculously good at it, like a master. So what I'm sharing with you, I would say 99% of the time, is what I have physically experienced. Not because I read it in a book or I went to a training and they said so. I wanted to find out. So when you meditate on a really, really, really deep level where there's literally no thoughts at all, nothingness, you enter this space, literally, you can feel it, like something completely lets go, and it's like you are connected to the void. And I remember the first time I really, really got there. It's funny because there's no thoughts at all. And yet, it's pure consciousness. Well, I realized immediately I can manifest anything from this space. And for a while, I did. So by having these experiences from meditating as deeply and as long as I have, I can reflect back on the Bible and be like, oh, that's what God was doing. He was in the void. So when you're in that space, it's nothing. It's darkness. But it's not a bad darkness. It is unbelievably peaceful. So now we go back to the book of Genesis and we look at Adam and Eve and the serpent in the garden. Well, that's where everything shifted, because when you are in the garden with God, you are in the void. Adam and Eve were having fun creating in the void, the space of nothingness. And this is the secret of secrets. It's free to all. Anyone can join. So what the serpent did was he lied, he manipulated, he did a double lie, and he tricked Adam and Eve to go into the left brain. This is the brain that does the thinking. And that's why it's called the tree of knowledge. It is really not the tree of knowledge. It is a limited, extremely limited form of knowledge. See, what the serpent did is he took us out of the creation mind, out of the openness where you let go of your mind, you let go of thinking, and you just create. So that's really what the damage was about. So this whole narcissist abuse, these were agents of the demon, of Satan, and they were sent to confuse you, to put doubt in your mind, to close you off from your emotional, spiritual mind, to put you in your thinking brain so you couldn't manifest or create anymore. Most of you were probably praying a lot, and some of you purposefully manifesting, and it was beginning to happen. This is why they sent their agents to you, to stop you from opening the door wide open. Now, for all of us, we were unhappy. I'm at a place now where I'm beginning to manifest again. So I'm not. It's not just that. I'm at a place of absolute total contentment. It is. I mean, I would have moments of this when I'd meditate for 3 or 4 hours, every day. But this has been just incredible. This has been going on since about mid to late January. So for all of you, everyone, I would say every human on the planet, there's a level of frustration, dissatisfaction, unhappiness, stress, anger, just being pissed. And I have the reason why. I mean, I'll make it really clear to you. It's because the serpent / Satan came along and he literally got in your head and he screwed you up. And what happened was he turned off your creation. He turned off your ability to manifest and create. He turned off your ability to enter the void. And because of that, you can't manifest, you can't create. And that is an extremely disheartening, frustrating. It's like a bird has wings, but it can't fly for some reason. It's like a dog can't bark. I mean, it's what they do. It's like a fish in water, and yet it can't swim. It's like this is what it was made for. You were made to manifest and create. This is why you're here. It's in your DNA. It's in your spirit. It's in your soul. It's inside you. It's what and who you are. So the ability to do it really was not turned off like completely. It was like he kind of tricked you to get stuck in your left brain. And now you're thinking. You're like, Mike, why am I not getting where I want to be? I go, because you don't think about driving your car. You get in your car, you put the key in the ignition, and you turn the car on, you put it in gear, and you put it on the gas pedal, and then you go. It's an action. It's something that you do. The challenge is the serpent tricked you to get into your thinking brain. So there you are thinking about what you want to do. Let it go. So the first part of this video connects to the second part, or builds upon it. So one of the things that I mentioned quite a bit is my internal awareness and emotional grounding techniques that I will teach to clients, condition into them, and work with them, and also the 2-day course which teaches those techniques. Because the better and better you get at them, and then you add meditation in with that, it helps you to enter the void. It literally brings you back to where you're supposed to be in the first place. It brings you back to the Garden of Eden. You know, the image that I've always had since I was a child, every time I read the book of Genesis, is how Adam and Eve are in the garden. They're running around, they're creating, they're building, they're doing this, they're doing that, and it's like there's no seriousness there at all. It's all about love and joy, playfulness, happiness, joy, and really, in one word, expression. See, human beings were literally designed, it's built into our DNA. Human beings were meant to express themselves through their creations. This is what makes life meaningful and worthwhile. It's why we are here. And that's what creation is. It is expressing through creation. So when you create stuff, it's you are using, how to explain it? I'm saying this backwards, hold on. Your expressions get put out there through creation. So you're expressing yourself, whether it's through music or art, design, building a building, you know, whatever it is. It could be sports. Now let's look at a girl, a teenage girl, a college age girl who's playing volleyball or soccer. They're this ball of energy, and they're running around expressing who they are. And that's why it's so joyful to just express yourself. Express what? Express yourself. This is how we share ourselves with each other. Whether it's art, music, poetry, sports, business, being an astronaut, anything. On the other hand, it could be a teenage boy, a college boy, a professional guy playing a sport. It's not the sport. The sport is just a vehicle to express this energy, this light inside them out to the world. This is why when a narcissist shuts someone down, they make them feel ashamed, because now you're ashamed of yourself and thus you don't express yourself. So when humans are blocked from expressing themselves, it's a very unhealthy thing. But when you can find a modality to begin expressing yourself, whether it's music or art or work or anything, you start to feel like alive, like this is why I'm here. Find the flow and you find your power. So here's one thing I want to say that I realize a lot of you probably don't actually realize. I'm not special, at least not any more special than you, especially if you're an empath or very spiritual or an emotionally heart-based being. One thing that I've come to realize very clearly in the last 3 months or so is most people, they don't have any clue or idea that they can become an actor or an actress or a singer or a dancer or start their own business or anything. It's like they just go to work and they pay their bills and that's it. It's like, it's not even like, oh, I can't do that. It's just like, that's just not, like, I'm not one of those people or something. So they don't even try. They don't even search. Ask and you shall find, or you shall find the answer. Seek and you shall find. Knock on the door and the door will be answered. If you don't knock, if you don't ask, if you don't seek, you're never going to learn. You're never going to find out. So a lot of people, when they get to know me or if someone tells them about me, they're just like, how did you do all these like completely radically different things and just end up being like a champion this, champion that, like being a phenomenal speaker, this, that. It's because I went after it. I did whatever it took. So let's go into the next part of this video. So, one of the things that I've really become very conscious of, that I've noticed with the clients that I've worked with and society as a whole, you have this inner battle going on, but you think, oh, it's that jerk over there, or it's that person, or they're making life hard. It's not. I'm telling you, it is the battle inside you. The conflict is inside you, and the way your unconscious mind role plays it is it will suck people into your conflict, and then you say, see, it's that person, it's not me. And the way you find yourself out of this battle is by clearing your mind, by finding that void. Because when you have that experience enough times, you become very conscious of when that thinking gets stuck up in your forehead. You're like, oh shit. Like, you become very conscious, and then you realize how that creates the rest of your life. Alright, I'm going to give you an example. So, I'm going to talk about energy. This is one of the experiences I had that really finally, it's not only made me believe in it, but it made me very conscious of it. Remember in a couple of videos back, maybe 2 or 3 weeks, I talked about, Charlie Brown, that little character called Pigpen. We always had like this mini dust storm swirling around him constantly. Well, we all have this energy around us, and so it's kind of similar to that little dust storm going around Pigpen. And this energy field that's swarming around you or stirring around you, anyone that comes into contact with it starts to take on that energy. Now, I've heard stuff like that for, at this point, it was, 15, 17 years from all these courses. And they say it, you hear, oh, okay. And luckily, I'd been going to energy healing and meditating and doing all this stuff. And one day I was walking down the street. I'm in a really good mood. And there's this guy on the sidewalk coming in my direction, younger guy. He was probably about 26. I think I was about 35 or I don't know, something like that. And what ended up happening was I'm kind of smiling at him. He's kind of looking down like he's real shy and timid. I'm like, man, it's okay, man. And as he got close to me, all of a sudden I started got angry at him. And I think, I don't remember the thoughts, but the thoughts were like, oh, that guy's a loser, or he's this and that. I'm like, whoa, what the hell? And as I'm walking past and away, I'm like, whoa, what the hell's going on with me? I went from super happy to just, and he didn't give me a dirt. He kind of looked down in a way, he was kind of shy. And I initially felt really sorry for him. And I realized, wow, that's the energy he's carrying around. Your energy, your thoughts, your beliefs pull people into your storm. And then they unconsciously get caught up in it and they interact with it. And now you're looking at them saying, yeah, you're one of those people. When really, no, they got caught up in your energy. Or vice versa. Have you ever heard this phrase or meme? It is, do they bring the best out in you or do they bring the worst out in you? See, it's literally all about energy. Energy, it's like magnetic, it's electric. And so when you get caught up in someone else's energy, you really need to start paying attention to how it's affecting you. Now, can people change? Absolutely. I'm in the change business. It's what I do. It's what I am. So the question is not, can people change? The question is this the type of energy you want to be around? Is it affecting you in a good way? Is it bringing out the best in you? One thing you need to know is your thoughts, what you're thinking, it absolutely does affect your energy. So this is why it's important to condition a habit into seeing yourself in a beautiful light, talking to yourself in a beautiful light, thinking good thoughts, focusing on good thoughts. This will condition into you over a period of time, and it will create a better energy field around you. Haven't you ever seen someone you've known for years, maybe a high school buddy, friend or something, and then they ended up dating this guy or this person, and after 6 months it was almost like you couldn't even recognize them. A year later you're like, what happened to you? We all have an energy field. The question is it a good energy field? Does it bring out the best in people? Do people bring out the best in you? If you notice you're angry, you're frustrated, you're tired, you're exhausted, you feel empty, you're depressed or whatever, after you started hanging out with a certain person, trust me, get them out of your life. So another effect is it will constantly cause you to draw people into your storm. Okay, one example is what I gave earlier when I was walking down the sidewalk. I was in a really good mood. I mean, I was just doing great, and I'm looking at this kid who's looking down, looking away. He was afraid. And the funny thing is, I was in a very conscious mood because I had just done an energy healing session. I think it was earlier that day or the day before, so I was really wide open. And I could see how this guy, his body language, looking down, kind of barely, he'd glance at me, look away, glance, look away. It's like he was trying to draw me. Now, I don't believe he's doing it consciously. But it's obvious this guy had some really strong beliefs about people are mean, or people are this, or people are that. And he was trying to draw me into his reality. Now, I remember my energy healer telling me, and it wasn't just her, it was all of them, it was all the trainings I went to, is that it's not just their physical 3D self, it's the actual energy that they carry around them that will have an effect on other people's energy. Now, I had a really hard time believing that until I was in a conscious space and I noticed it absolutely take me from being in this really good space to, I looked at this guy like, who's this guy? He's a bad guy. And I'm like, he didn't do anything to me. So I have a friend in high school. Ever since, I think it was 9th or 10th grade when she came to our school. I mean, literally the first thing I heard out of her mouth was, men this, guys are all the same. They're just jerks. And to this day on Facebook, she still does the same thing. Now here's the deal, it's kind of tricky because I'm very conscious and aware she really believes this, just like beliefs that I used to have about myself and others in life and people. So it's interesting because I haven't seen most of my high school friends or connected with them for easily 25 years or 20 plus years. And Facebook comes along, and it really wasn't until about 3 or 4 years ago that we all started connecting on Facebook, so it wasn't like an instant thing. So the first thing people notice about me is like, man, you've really changed. And I noticed some of these friends of mine have also changed as well. And then there's some, it's still 1983, 84. They haven't changed, learned, or grown one single bit. They have the same tone, the same voice, the same tempo, the same beliefs, and you're just looking at this person like, really? To this one girl who she's literally verbatim repeating the words in sync, word for words. I mean, in the same order that she was saying them back in 9th or 10th grade. I mean exactly. Like a recording. So what's happening is her energy is drawing people into her storm. So she might meet the nicest guy in the world, and she has this belief system. This is the way men are. Have any of you ever dealt with a narcissist before? Oh, and by the way, I'm not hinting or saying she's a narcissist. That she might be, but that is not what this is about. Narcissists have this way of affecting you on a personal level. They affect your personality. They have these beliefs, and they will point out any little possibility of, this is the way our conscious mind is. If you believe something, okay, I got it. Let me think of a good example. See, your brain deletes, distorts, and generalizes. In other words, it blocks out 99% or 97% of the information, and it only sees what it believes because that's all that filter allows through. I used to have a really, really, really strong belief that people hated me. So I could go to a party with five of my friends. We'd walk in, and at the end of the party, they're like, God, wasn't that just a great group of people? And I'm like, what are you talking about? Those are the meanest people in the world. And all my friends are like, what are you talking about? Those are nice people, Mike. See, your filter draws you to what you believe. So if someone comes into your physical reality that does not match your belief, it's like they're neutral to you, so there's no attachment, there's nothing. So you're just kind of like, yeah, I'm bored. I don't connect with this person. Isn't that kind of messed up? So I'd go to a party and I'd bump into someone, they're a really nice person, and I can actually look back and realize like, wow, those were the good people. So now I connect with good people and I walk away from bad. Whereas before, I talk to someone and to me like, yeah, they're boring. I don't know. I can't relate. And that's the thing. I literally couldn't relate to good people. By the way, this is me taking full 100% responsibility for this. Because it gives me the power of choice to change. So I'd meet a really good person and I'd be like, yeah, it's boring. There's nothing. Like, okay, I gotta go. And I'd walk to the next one. Here's a bad person. And sure enough, they'd start being mean and say mean things or be mean to someone like in the group that we're talking. I'm like, wow, what a mean person. Then I'd leave that group and I'd go to another person, another. Oh, there's another bad person. And I would literally only relate to and connect to mean and or bad people. So when I walked out of the room, my reality was, now mind you, 7 out of 8 people were very good people, but I walked out only spending time with the bad person of every group. And therefore, when I walked, I was like, dude, that was like the most messed up group of people on the planet. My friend's like, what the hell are you talking about? That's what solid beliefs do. They only allow you to see the people of your belief. Remember when I told you the brain deletes, distorts, and generalizes because otherwise we would be overwhelmed with information. So this girl on Facebook was complaining about men, and at this point you gotta understand we're all 50 some years old, and all of our friends, we're just like, oh my God. And so but a few of her girlfriends that she's known since high school, well, I've been married since I was 23 years old. And my husband isn't a jerk. My husband doesn't do this. My husband is very doting on our children. He was a very good father and a very good husband and a very good man. And this is the delete, distort, and generalize. So then this friend of ours would say, oh, well, that doesn't count. So she would literally make up a reason of why that, well, your husband's different. Or most men aren't like that. Or that's not reality. Or you just hit the jackpot. You won the lottery. So in other words, her brain was functioning properly to an extent, but functioning properly in a very negative light, which was constantly telling her, yeah, that's not real. That's not reality. So for her, that's not reality. So when she meets someone like that in public, she can't connect. She's not on the same page. She can't relate to people like that. So literally, they're not real to her. It's like, honestly, I would meet these really nice people and be, oh, they're so fake. and I would walk on to say, yeah, whatever, man, I can't relate. And they weren't fake at all. I just couldn't connect because I had this belief, and those people didn't fit inside my belief system. Remember, beliefs are not real at all. They are completely made up, but they have a powerful effect on your unconscious mind and your actions. This is why you could say something really nice to a narcissist and like, oh, well, you're just trying to take advantage of me, or you're really saying this, and they'll completely twist what you said into something negative, and you're like, wait, how did you get that out of this? Like, wait, what? And it's really bizarre dealing with narcissists are at the extreme level of this. The average person's kind of at the average level of it. So remember, don't be a pig pen unless it's happy energy. See, this is why you learn how to enter the void, because you can have brand new, fresh experiences with people versus, oh, they're this skin color, they're this religion, they're whatever. Like, oh, this is what they do for a living. And it's like all that stuff goes away, and you get to see them for who they are in this moment. And from that space, you get to create your own dynamics between each other. Now do you see, when you walk around with these false beliefs, these rules, this structure, and all this BS, that it's not even real, that you continually recreate what you believe, what your rules are, what you think, and it doesn't allow you to just be in the moment and express who you are in that moment. Not only that, but it doesn't allow you to see someone for who they truly are on the inside. You know how I keep talking about the internal awareness course and the teachings, the emotional grounding course? See, when you meditate, especially if you get good enough at it, you can meditate for 2 or 3 hours, and then you go out in public, and I notice generally about half the time that you meditate, you can stay in this very open space. And like, I remember the first time I went to the grocery store, I was looking at the girl at the bakery behind the counter, and I'm like, it's like it was different. I was very conscious, and I started noticing things that I never noticed before. And then after about an hour and a half, it went away, and I was thinking I was stuck up in my forehead again, so it went away. So then I began to learn and develop what I call, or I should say what is called walking meditation techniques. So these are the techniques that I teach you in the internal awareness and emotionally grounding course. I teach you these walking meditation techniques to where now you can use these techniques in person, out at the mall, out at the store, at work, etc., and be in a more emotionally grounded and conscious space. See, the interesting thing is, the more conscious you become, the more aware of how much you realize your beliefs limit you. Essentially, they keep you in a box and you can't get out, and that's the very thing. But I want out. Well, you're going to have to let go of those beliefs. So the more you become aware, the more conscious you become aware of them, the more you start to realize how silly they are, and you just slowly, they just slowly melt away. And yes, you can change all of this. You can heal this in you. You can become conscious of it and make shifts and changes. This is what I specialize in. So in the next video, I'm going to talk about pretty much what I call a universal experience that most empaths and open-hearted people, what happens, and it's an effect they come to when dealing with narcissists. So I'm going to talk about that in the next video. Alright, God bless you guys. I'll see you guys in the next video. Remember, click subscribe, click the like button, make a comment. And if you want, go ahead and make a donation. There's a donation link, a PayPal link right there in the description box below the video. Alright guys, that's in this video. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.